Emotional maturity versus emotional immaturity. Emotional maturity is the ability to process and regulate emotions by oneself. We all have emotions constantly arising within ourselves when interacting with people and in circumstances in everyday life. These emotions are sometimes valid, but other times are reactions to external stressors and were valid in proportion to a time in the past, triggers, or valid in the immediate present moment, but not past that. Holding onto or exacerbating these emotions, instead of processing them and releasing them, will lead to disproportionately angry thoughts and actions and cause harm to the self and others. The benefits of emotional maturity are for the self and for others, both in relationships and in social and business interactions. Those who are immature react based on how they feel in that moment, instead of responding based on what is the best road forward for everyone involved. There are 4 main benefits of emotional maturity. 1. Autonomy. Emotional maturity means liberation or freedom from dependency on others to regulate one's own emotions. 2. Independence. Emotional maturity gives a person emotional independence and the ability to respond to circumstances instead of reacting. This also creates confidence in decision-making. 3. Protection. Emotional independence protects people from emotional manipulation and from reacting in ways that cause harm and dysfunction to the self and others. 4. The ability to connect. Peer-to-peer connections and intimacy require emotional maturity. If one is mature and the other is not, this will result in a parent-child dynamic and misappropriation of power. Autonomy. Autonomy means the ability and freedom to make your own decisions without being controlled by other people. Emotional maturity provides liberation, or freedom from dependency on others, to regulate one's own emotions. If you don't know how to process and release emotions, you will suppress them in the moment and until either you are with someone who has been your emotional regulator to whom you express and release them, or you will suppress them until they explode on whoever happened to be there when the final straw took you over your limit on how many you could hold inside. You will be dependent on your emotional regulator and will feel as though you need that person or you will lose your mind. Your regulator may be your mother, a friend, spouse, or therapist who hasn't taught you how to self-regulate yet. Independence. Emotional maturity gives a person emotional independence and the ability to respond to circumstances instead of reacting. This also creates confidence in decision-making. When you have emotional maturity, you no longer have to suppress your emotions until they are released or exploded. You become your own self-regulator and express or dissolve them immediately after or as they arise. Protection. Emotional independence protects people from emotional manipulation and from reacting in ways that cause harm and dysfunction to the self and others. People who seek to control you will purposely trigger you and then act as your savior through their intermittent punishment via silent treatment or shaming mixed with praise and adoration. These can be parents, siblings, romantic relationships, cult leaders, bosses, or even political figures. The ability to connect. When you are emotionally immature and meet someone who you like, you are more likely to immediately begin to play act to try to become whoever you think they want, so that they will not reject you. But by doing this, you are never actually showing them who you are. You are destroying trust from day one. Worse yet, you will eventually resent them because you feel you always have to act around them, and it's draining and tiring to do so. Also, nobody can perfectly pretend to be someone who they are not, so your character will slip up. When questioned by them, you will go into an inner panic, trying to put the mask back on. Emotionally mature people are who they are and see rejection as meaning it wasn't right for them, but the other person noticed it first. How does a person become emotionally mature? Emotional maturity comes with experience, learning, and time. Unlike physical maturity, emotional maturity doesn't just come with age. To become emotionally mature, a person has to become aware of what their emotions are and be able to recognize and detach from those emotions and respond to circumstances in a rational manner. Emotional maturity seeks fairness and solutions to problems with respect for and to provide the best solutions for all involved. Why have societies discouraged men from developing their emotional side? Most societies have been at war for centuries. In order for men to comply with orders to kill other humans, they have been emotionally stunted. This makes them easier to manipulate, and it makes them less likely to argue with those who are manipulating them and more likely to be able to fight in wars. Dehumanizing other people would not be possible with emotional maturity. Compassion would not allow it. Looking another person in the eyes who has done no harm to you and murdering them wouldn't be possible if you saw them as a living, breathing human being who is the same as you. Emotions have been painted as being weak. In times of actual war where a person has to kill in defense, it would be possible to do so. In fact, the term mama bear is used to describe the individual who will destroy anyone who attempts to harm their child. But protection and self-defense are not offensive or on the attack. They are necessary at certain times, but not at all times. The use of disparaging jokes, mocking, and ridicule have been used to try to humiliate men who show emotion. The modern terms simp or soy boy stem from these roots. But those same people want compassion and empathy and will deem you as cruel and attack you if you do not show it to them. This kind of double standard shows either emotional immaturity, emotional toxicity, or both. Aren't men just men and women just women? No. Human beings have both a masculine and a feminine side. The masculine uses logical thinking and mental processes. The feminine side uses feeling and emotional processes. To be a fully mature adult means to have both sides matured. In the past in the United States and many countries, and in many countries still today, children have been raised to be incomplete. Boys are taught the virtues of the masculine side and their emotional growth is stunted and discouraged. Girls used to only be taught the virtues of the feminine side and discouraged from being a tomboy. People were even told they should seek to find their other half in a spouse. Legally, women were not allowed to express their masculine side. Focusing on the USA, women were not allowed to vote, own property, open bank accounts or take out loans, attend universities and colleges, or make even legal decisions about their own bodies without their husbands or fathers. The wedding ceremony had a woman's father walk her to a man and give her away to him. She changed her last name from her father's to her husband's. This changed drastically only when there was a need for it to do so. Women sought the right to vote in the USA actively for close to 100 years before being legally allowed to in 1920. World War I had so many men off to fight that women had to work jobs that were formerly only for men. Production lines, farms, factories, you name it. Once the war was over, many women realized they were more capable than they were led to believe. Women's liberation was essentially women's desire and action to develop their masculine side. Women fought to have the same rights as men, masculine rights, or logical/mental maturity. Now, when it comes to men and their emotional side, or feminine rights, or emotional maturity, there are no laws preventing men from exercising them. Men do not have to break the law to process, self-regulate, or express emotions. Men do not have to protest because they aren't allowed to be considerate or compassionate. Men don't have to encourage or nurture relationships behind closed doors or face imprisonment. So what is stopping men from doing so? It's that pesky ingrained false belief that doing so would mean they are weak. But who is weaker? The man who is able to be taunted into an out-of-control rage? Or the man who sees the taunting as fool's bait? The man who loses control because he doesn't get his way, or manipulates and lies to everyone to try and get what he thinks he wants? Or the man who calmly asserts his plans and goals and has used compassion and consideration to make sure that the results will benefit everyone and not just him? Who is the stronger man? The one who starts wars, or the one who brings peace to places that have been at war? Who is the stronger man? The one whose children run from him because they are afraid of him, or the one whose children run to him because they know that with him they are safe, protected, and loved? The interesting paradox about the USA in particular is that many emotionally immature males are Christian. But Jesus was a man who was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually mature. Do they believe Jesus was weak? What's the goal? Why does it matter? Men's liberation will end the male loneliness epidemic, create better partners, fathers, leaders, and people. Women who have developed their masculine side are no longer a match for men who have not developed their feminine side. They are peers in their masculine sides, but the relationship in their feminine sides is parent and child. Men who refer to themselves as red pill men seek to dominate women by playing games and lying as a form of control. While this may temporarily make them feel like they are powerful, you can't really win a game with someone who wasn't playing. It's not a win when you fight against your teammate. The purpose of a partnership is to make each other better and support each other, not to have one's life become more difficult while in the relationship than it was when she was single. Lying to a partner means you're in a loser couple and just wasting everyone's time. The men who develop their emotional maturity will have their choice of great women. They will have partnerships that elevate them and foster and encourage them to become the best versions of themselves that could exist. They will also do that for their partner. They will see their time together as valuable and worthwhile. Everyone has up and down cycles. They will each be able to be there and support each other during both. Liberation means independence. Independence doesn't mean you will be alone. It means you can be. When you choose to be with someone, it will be because you want to, and they add to your life. They will choose you because they want to, and you add to their life. Both of your time will be a worthy investment in each other. Developing your emotional side as a man won't make you less of a man. It will make you more of a human. Not developing your emotional side as a man won't make you more of a man. It will keep part of you as dependent on women as a little boy or girl. What is toxic masculinity? Is there a toxic femininity? Masculinity is to provide and protect. Immature masculinity is to not provide and to not protect. Toxic masculinity is to do the opposite of those things, to use and to harm. Femininity is to nurture and support. Immature femininity is to not nurture and to not support. Toxic femininity is to hinder and to burden. In a codependent relationship, a mature masculine and a mature feminine are the old traditional needs-based pairings. He provides and protects and doesn't receive that in return. She nurtures and supports and does not receive that in return. A person's biological gender may or may not match their dominant or developed sides or who they are physically attracted to. It's rare to have a human who is fully developed and balanced exactly 50-50. But energies attract opposite energies. A biological woman may be attracted to men but have a high masculine energy. This is shown by her desire to build, achieve, found, and own a company or other traditionally masculine life goals. She will be attracted to a person who has a higher feminine energy. If that person is a male, in today's society with the biases as they are, he won't take on his role as the primary nurturer and supporter. He instead will feel emasculated by her masculinity and will attempt to compete with her. Her life will be more difficult in partnership with him than being by herself. He will not understand why he has acted the way he has in hindsight. He will feel disappointed and ashamed of himself. He will know he ruined the partnership. He will likely have attempted to reclaim his perceived loss of masculinity by seeking out a feminine partner who he feels more emotionally stable than. Since he is an immature feminine, the only women who are less stable than him are toxic feminine women. They are erratic, emotional, jealous, controlling, and underneath all of that, they have been severely emotionally wounded and have not healed. To her, he will be the best version of himself that exists in order to try to make up that deficit. His best self can only exist where his masculinity doesn't feel threatened, which is in a place where his partner is highly needy and demanding. He will harm the ones who are stable and good to him and reward the ones who oscillate between adoring him and hating him. He will prevent her from healing if he stays with her. Staying with her will encourage her to continue acting out her wound without healing it. What is the difference between an immature emotional reaction versus a mature emotional response? An immature reaction is, for the most part, equal and opposite, and done without thought. An eye for an eye. When a person feels wounded emotionally, their immediate, thoughtless reaction is to wound back. Key word is feels. It may not actually be. For example, if a man goes on a date with a woman who he finds very attractive, without confidence in himself, he feels more insecure around her than he does by himself or with a woman who he does not find attractive. If he is emotionally immature, he will react to these feelings by insulting her, outright or passive-aggressively. He may not even be aware that he's doing it. Or if he is aware, he may not understand why he is acting this way. Or if she says something neutral, because he is feeling insecure and is not processing his emotions or detaching from them, he may perceive things she says as attacks, but then his equal and opposite reactions are actually instigating attacks on her, when she did nothing negative or purposeful to provoke them. If a man is mature emotionally, he is able to be aware of his feelings of insecurity around a woman who he finds very attractive, but can consciously detach from spiraling in those, and instead shift his focus to appreciate being with her. If she's also kind and smart, he is able to also appreciate those things. If she is unkind or shallow, he may still find her physical appearance to hold beauty, but he would lose attraction to her. People who are aware and emotionally mature do not want to be close to people who are unkind to them. They know that damage will be done and will need to be healed. Emotionally immature reaction. 1. Stimulus. A situation presents itself that causes an emotional reaction within a person. 2. Reaction. A person reacts based on the emotion. A higher level of discomfort creates a higher level of aggressive reaction. 3. Outcome. The person sees the outcome of their reaction in hindsight, and that it likely was not what they would have chosen now that they see the results/outcome. 4. Regret. The person feels regret and/or shame for their reaction, but the past cannot be changed. This happening many times can result in further anger and frustration, as well as self-doubt. Emotionally mature response using cognitive reappraisal. 1. Stimulus. A situation presents itself that causes an emotional reaction within a person. 2. Recognition. A person consciously recognizes the emotion that has been created within themselves. 3. Detachment. The person consciously detaches from the emotion and mentally chooses a response to the stimulus that is appropriate and rational. 4. Response. The response that is chosen is one that benefits the individual with consideration for, and not to the purposeful detriment of another individual.